So we're pleased to be here at the Canadian Biosystems North American Nutrition Summit. The day's just wrapped up, and we're pleased to be joined by Krisjan Jones, the Operations Director of Canadian Biosystems. It's been a great day. We heard from some good speakers, and it's an interesting week because you guys are doing this conference. Then a lot of the delegation are heading up to the Animal Nutrition Conference of Canada. I guess just for starters, Krisjan, just interested in this concept of the CBS Nutrition Summit. I guess what was the vision for the day and a bit of the background to that?
Yeah, we did our first trial run at this type of meeting when we were in Asia a year ago, March 2017, where we brought in all our distributors. We brought two guest speakers, one from Canada, one from the US on the poultry side, and brought them there and hosted this meeting, and it went kind of better than expected. So when ANCC was launched or announced in Edmonton, we figured that a lot of the people would be coming through, and we might be able to kind of divert them here, bring in some speakers. Bogdan Slominski, he's our main product development researcher, so being able to have him come through, and he's a keynote speaker up at the conference as well, so we can kind of have him come in and do a real update on what we've been working on for the past little while, and bring that unifying message to not only our Canadian customers, but some of the Asian customers that we were bringing in as well. So overall, we were expecting about, a headcount of about 30 people, and we got about 50 at the end of it. So I think it was exceeded our expectations.
Yeah. No, excellent. Really enjoyed listening to some of the talks, and it was interesting for me. I thought the audience here was a bit of a reflection of CBS too. There's a blend of Canadian representation, North American, but also international. And I think just the topics covered by some of the speakers touched on a lot of interesting trends and evolutions of the broader industry that you guys serve. I guess just thoughts on what stood out as far as some of the subject matter covered and how that dovetails with what CBS is trying to accomplish.
Yeah, you're right. It's nice to kind of get that blend of different customers, and it helps us get our unified message out. It was really great having Bogdan do a really kind of high-powered technical talk and dive into some of the stuff that we brush on in our brochures. So it helps customers connect the dots from our brochure right down to the raw data. And having Simon come up from a more commercial perspective, you really get that nice macro view of the U.S. Everybody kind of always wants to know what the U.S. is doing. They're them and China, the number 1 and 2 food producing nations. So it's always kind of startling to hear those numbers, and you can kind of see some of the trends that Bogdan was talking about with prebiotic effect of enzymes and the phase out of antibiotics that Simon was dealing with last year. Well, not just Simon, but the whole industry, and them starting to look at those unique health benefits to something that was traditionally not used for that. So that lab mentality and that commercial mentality kind of coming together was really nice, I think.
Yeah, excellent. Well, and just in terms of things coming together, some of these industry trends that were touched on, we've got a shift in expectations and new rules regarding use of antimicrobials. We've got new generation science that is offering more solutions. I know obviously a lot of your partners were in the room. Just kind of interested in your take on where CBS is headed next, and maybe just even what you're hearing from some of those customers and partners about what the future looks like.
Yeah, well, we launched our feed science platform messaging today, and so that really helps us kind of group our products into more focused categories that someone like Simon can quickly look at and say, okay, I've got this traditional antibiotic formula how can I use these CBS tools to kind of patch in things that are going to be missing now as we go forward. So refocusing our product categories into more industry specific language, and really helping them kind of build a toolbox that they can kind of plug in and play with is a big focus for us. And you know, it's kind of startling. You know, our president's here who had this vision back in the early 90s where he saw that antibiotics were maybe not going to be around forever, and so for him to pivot in the early 90s and focus on enzyme technology is you know, becoming more and more unique and more you know, he was a pretty big visionary back then. So it's neat to watch all that come together with a bigger team and more interested parties, and to be able to attract these type of people to an event like this is great as well.
Yeah, excellent. Well, yeah, as you spoke to, I think certainly it's an interesting time in the industry, and like you mentioned, all of these trends kind of coming together at the moment. You mentioned CBS's growing team. I guess just as a final note, are you optimistic as you look ahead as a key player, I guess not only now in the North American industry, but globally in the feed and nutrition business?
Oh yeah, very. You know, these people in our company, they're drawn to us. They're drawn to the science that we're pushing out. They're drawn to the messaging that we push out, and you know, it's exciting times to be part of this wave. It's getting more and more competitive, so we always have to work harder. And we talked about some of the new things we're working on. We're combining our technologies with the enzyme and the yeast, and those type of things. We just have to keep pushing forward and keep pumping out unique solutions to these problems that were kind of brought out today as well.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on the inaugural CBS North American Nutrition Summit, and thanks for spending some time with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome.